Nails, Pilates, bagels, and more.
Downtown Jacksonville will welcome a slew of new retail outlets in the next year and a half or so after Gateway Jacks announced half a dozen new vendors for Pearl Square.
Our Zach Wilcox is joining us from the future Pearl Square site right now. Zach, there's a lot of construction going on over there.
We've been looking at these renderings plastered all around downtown Jacksonville as an idea of what Pearl Square could look like when it's finished, but all of the restaurants listed in there and the retail outlets are kind of generic. Now we're getting a more specific idea of what will be coming to this space. And for one restaurant that I talked with, they mentioned once construction wraps up here, they're hoping this will be the perfect fit for the vision for their restaurant.
It was kind of born out of what we wanted to see as customers.
Andrew Deming and his wife brought that vision to life with Bar Citra in St. Augustine about 2 years ago, recently receiving a Michelin Bib Gourmand distinction. They'll take their coffee, pastries, and wine list about 40 miles up the road to a new location in Pearl Square in downtown Jacksonville.
The expansion wasn't the first thing on our minds. At first, we're like, kind of explore this, and then it became something that we couldn't really look away from once we got an idea for the vision.
Bar Citra will be one of the first spots to open in Pearl Square at the Vanderveer building overlooking a park with a fountain.
Downtown context, the walkability that they are envisioning there, I feel like it's the context that our concept is best suited for.
Bar Citra will join Buckner's Beer Garden, Pop-Up Bagels, Pearl Street Nails, Go Greek Yogurt, Jet Set Pilates, and Coletta, an Italian kitchen, as the first retail faces of Pearl Square. Gateway Jacks CEO Brian Mall says there was an emphasis on trying to get some local names into the first phase to mix with regional and national ones.
We're not trying to be a Disney World necessarily within downtown Jacksonville. We're trying to be an authentic addition to the fabric that already exists.
Mall mentioned that while it may seem like a lot of names, the 6 new vendor announcements are just 5% of the total retail space planned for Pearl Square.
Everything that we announced was 10,000 square feet of that 200,000 square feet of retail. This is the first of what will end up being, we hope, dozens of retail and restaurant announcements over the next year or two.
The big question is always timelines, isn't it? You can see the construction is still underway behind me here. They're hoping to have some of these locations open by the end of this year, actually. Bar Citra and several of the other ones will be opening next year in 2027, they're hoping for. And the Publix, which is really going to be a big anchor for Pearl Square, that's set to open in 2028. In downtown, Zach Wilcox, First Coast News, on your side.